So we got a big day tomorrow. We've got about 2 ton worth of bluestone square mixed sizes here that we're going to be putting a patio down. And you can't tell on this pallet here, but they're all different sizes, 5 different sizes, ranging from 24 by 24, 18 by 18, and then a bunch of rectangular shaped ones. So I'm making this video because I've got this pallet here that we're going to be putting in, and we want it to match similar to what we already have. This is a previous patio, and you can see all the mixed sizes in there, right? And we're going to be putting the new stuff right here to expand the patio. So the question that I'm having, and why I'm making this video, hoping that it helps other people, is how on earth, we know we're not going to match this pattern exact. We know that. But how do you take a pallet with mixed sizes and figure out how to lay them here so that you don't have them, you know, where it looks funny, where all one size is together and you're not cutting every single piece to try to fit in. This is a 20 by 10 area. It's 200 square foot. I measured out all my pieces. All the pieces, an 18 by 18 is actually a 17.5 by 17.5 because they call for a wide space between them. This previous patio, the spacing is a little bit smaller than that. So we might snug them in a little bit more over here, but we don't know yet. So I'm going to show you what I'm trying to do here to figure out this solution. Okay, so the first thing I did is I went out to that pallet and I measured all the stones that I have here, and you can see by my dirty scrap paper of all the projects that I'm always working on. I came up with that I have 15 of the 18 by 12. I've got 8 of a 24 by 24. I've got 15 24 by 12s, 24 by 8s, 24 of those, and 22 of the 18 by 18s. And so based on that, what I did was I then went and I created a piece of graph paper, and this is the area that we're going to be doing. So it's 10 foot by 20 foot. I have each box being 6 inches apiece. Since all of these come in 6-inch increments, it'll be easy to lay down. Then what I did was I went same thing on I used a Google sheet, but you could do it in Excel. As I used this same piece here, right? And then I went over here and I started to mark off the different colors. We have 5 different sizes. So for an example, you'll see here that red, right? I'm going to cut these, and I'm going to have 15 of these reds that are going to be 18 by 12, so it'd be 3 blocks by 2 blocks. And I'm going to cut all these out to match these sizes, so then we can almost do like a Tetris Jenga type of thing. So I'm going to stop right now and cut these all out, and I'll be right back. So as you can see, I've cut out all my pieces to scale. They're all laid out here. And then there's my graph paper. And I just quickly started to take a mathematical approach. My mind is very even and mathy. So I took my patio and I actually realized that I had 8 of the 24 by 24 blocks. And so I thought I would divide my patio in 8 quadrants, and that would be my basis to start the design. Now I still might work off of this, but where I did make a mistake is I then took the numbers of all the other ones, such as my blue ones here that are 24 by 18s. I had 24 of them, so I figured, well, there'll be 3 in each quadrant. And what I figured out as I started to lay them out that way and see if I could fit them all in there, is that if I were to divide these all up into the quadrants and get them in there, I would have one major issue. And the major issue is that I would have one seam going the full 20 feet, and then I would have 4 seams going 10 feet in length. 2 of the things that we're trying to avoid is not having a seam run any longer than 3 to 4 feet, if at all possible, and also never having 4 blocks meet in a corner. Those are the 2 things that I'm trying to avoid. So I'm going to go back and start placing these around and just see what we can figure out just by messing around with it. So as you can see, I'm really running into a hard time of where to fit all these in with all these different sizes that I have. When I try to move them around, I end up with one little spot there, and I don't have a block that's 6 inches wide that I can fit in there. So I'm really having an issue trying to figure this out. So this is just going to take a lot of time and a lot of monkeying around with these pieces and moving around. The good thing about doing it this way is it's a lot easier doing it like this than lifting stones that weigh 30, 40, 50 pounds and moving those around and constantly leveling them and trying to find your spaces. This may be a pain in the butt, but it will save you so much backache and time down the road. So I'm going to continue working on this, and I'll be back when I have something to show you that is worthwhile. So after honestly over an hour, maybe even 2 hours of trial and error and trying different sizes and places, I have figured out how to fit almost all the blocks in here. And the good news is there will only be 1, 2, 3 cuts. These 3 pieces will need to be cut in half in order to fill my perfect 10 by 20 area. And you can see that it's kind of a scatter approach. I wasn't really able to figure out any kind of I don't want to say template, but any grouping that I could repeat over and over again, because I didn't get to. They sell kits. Some of the stone yards will sell a kit, and in that kit comes just the right sizes in order to put a template together. And I didn't have one of those, so this is what I was able to figure out. So now tomorrow, when the gentlemen come to lay the stone, I'll be able to hand them this, and they'll quickly be able to look and see what sizes, knowing that every block box is 6 inches. This would be a 12 by 12, an 18 by 18, an 18 by 24, and they'll be able to go right in a row and place these down. And as long as they keep that right spacing, that inch spacing between each block, inch or half inch, I think it's a half inch, then we'll be fine, and there'll only be 3 cuts right at the end to make. So tomorrow I'll be able to show you how it all panned out when they laid it down. So after making our master map, which I've been showing you how we put together, we have now completed all the stone being laid in its place. See it all the way down, and you can see, it's kind of hard to show you how it matches the map, but you can see that row starting up at the top right across, looks just like that. We had to change, we had a big one right here around this pipe, and we ended up using small pieces to make it fit better. But if you follow the map all along, it matches up real nicely. Only one other thing we had to change is the way the pallet was stacked. I thought I had more 2x1s, but they were actually 1x1s, like those 2 right there. So if you had looked on the map, it would have been that blue one right there, and instead we had to go to 2 single ones instead. So, but overall the project came out great. Our installer did a fantastic job, and now it's all ready for the grout to lock it in place. Hope this helped you lay out your patio and see what it'll look like when you're done. A lot easier doing the work on here than doing the work on your hands and knees down there.